Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. I am Brent West, along with Jack Lord. Rodney still feeling just a little bad. He is still under the weather, so hopefully by next week he will be back.
Being a heel takes a lot out of you.
This is true. Top 100 wrestlers. We're at 94. We're gonna be on this for the next 3 years, and it's going to be at least 100 weeks. 94 on my list. Nature Boy Buddy Landel. Now, Jack, we've had some people who said Buddy Landel was at best, he was a mid-card wrestler. Some people said Buddy Landel would not make it on their list at all, on a top 100. You know, the first time I saw Buddy Landel was in Mid-South Wrestling, and he had tremendous heat in Louisiana for Mid-South Wrestling. If people would have been able to see him at that time in 1984 or early in 1985, just tremendous stuff that he did.
I'm going to tell you, the only thing that kept Buddy Landel from being the top guy in our industry is Buddy Landel.
Yeah. Because
his talent was unsurpassed. I mean, he was as good as anybody that has ever laced up those boots. You know, and unfortunately, he was his own worst enemy. But, you know, you can't take away from the tremendous impact he had, even though it was really only a short amount of time. But he was great. When he was on his game, there was no better.
He never had a bad match, but he always was good. You know, I saw Buddy in 1984. He was hated. He never won a match. Very rarely did he win a match, especially in the arenas. But man, people hated his guts. He got back on television, was able to get that heat back each and every week, but never won a match in the arenas. Very rarely. But he had so much heat that when we were in the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, they had a ghetto street fight between the Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Butch Reed. The big Gathering lad comes back into the territory. He attacks Junkyard Dog. He actually gets beat. And now Buddy Landel's in the ring. And out of all those people, Buddy Landel gets tarred and feathered because Junkyard Dog was supposed to get tarred and feathered, but Buddy Landel gets tarred and feathered. And this is what you would think, okay, that's it. Well, Buddy ain't going to have no heat. No, Buddy got as much heat after that he did, you know, before that happened. Buddy was just good at what he did. And then when he went to Continental, tremendous matches with Wendell Cooley, tremendous matches with Ron Fuller over the Continental title. So Buddy was Buddy's own, but I do believe he has a place in the top 100 because he was just that good.
Well, and let's not forget the Buddy and Bill show in Memphis. I mean, that's classic.
It was classic stuff. And if you haven't seen it, I believe it is available on YouTube. The Buddy Bill Dundee show was tremendous. They take over the host show, and it is good. Buddy could do it all. Buddy could wrestle. Buddy could do the interview. Buddy could do everything. And Buddy was poetry in motion. Everything he did good. There was nothing that Buddy Landel didn't do that wasn't good. And a lot of people get mad because he was called Nature Boy Buddy Landel. What people don't understand is he did not give himself that name. You know, he didn't say, I want to be Nature Boy Buddy Landel. When he got to Mid-South Wrestling, Bill Dundee, a bunch of other people decide they want to call him Nature Boy Buddy Landel. So you can't get mad at Buddy Landel over that. Now, there's other people that call themselves the Nature Boy, but that they gave it to themselves. But someone else gave Buddy Landel the name Nature Boy. He didn't take it himself. But Jack, we will not know Rodney's 94 because unless he chimes in at some point, he would be on here, but he'd be coughing and yakking and everything. We don't want to see that, and blowing his nose. We don't see any of that stuff.
Yeah, he might summon a demon or Kevin Sullivan. So we don't want to take that chance.
Number 94, Jack. Who's number 94 on your list?
Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Tracy was, first of all, Tracy could whip almost anybody in the dressing.
Yes, he could.
But see, he was trained. He was trained by people that knew the shooting style of wrestling.
Yep.
But Tracy deserves to be there, and we lost him way too early.
The thing is people look at his career. He was in Continental. He was in WCW for a good long run. He had a cup of coffee in WWE there for a while. And they'll look at him and they'll say that same thing, mid-Carter, But if you knew how good Tracy was, Tracy really wasn't used correctly until Smoky Mountain. Yeah. And then he got that major push, and man, Tracy could handle it. It was another day at the office for him. And then on the independent scene, the impact he had with so many wrestlers on the independent scene is just astounding. They've got another memorial show coming up for him soon. I don't have the details. I'll try to get that for next week. But man, people, we all miss him. I mean, Tracy was just a good person. He loved this business, and he wanted people to succeed. And that is hard to find.
Yeah, that is hard. I first time I met Tracy Smothers, he was in Continental. He had come into Continental Championship Wrestling. He was teaming with Steve Armstrong as the Wild Southern Boys. They actually came in because Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty were fired. They were fired in Coleman, Alabama. It was on a Tuesday night. I remember it very vividly.
I wasn't on the card, but I was there at the show. I remember seeing them come out.
They actually made it to Coleman. Actually, what had happened is we won't say exactly what he did. I think he's even said, maybe Marty Jannetty's even said what he put on a shirt. That was just a little smidget bit of why he got. Shawn Michaels really is the one that got him fired. It wasn't Marty Jannetty. It was Shawn Michaels because he didn't want to be there anyway. But he gets fired on Tuesday night. Steve Armstrong, Tracy Smothers in the dressing room. You would think that would have gave Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. You think they'd say there's two new guys in the dressing room. Something's fixing to happen. I'm not for sure. They were so far away out there. They probably thought it was somebody else, two other guys getting fired. But anyway,
they were probably 20 miles down the road before they realized what happened.
They probably did. I believe they may have broke our window out in our car that night. But I digress. But it could have happened. We did get a broken window that night in the car. But he gets fired, and then we meet Tracy Smothers. The first night I ever met him was that Tuesday night. It was about Christmas time. We were in Birmingham, Alabama, State Fair Arena. And Tracy said these words, and this is the only time I ever had a problem with Tracy. And we had a huge problem that night. Okay. It was bad. So he says these words. He says, well, I guess crowds wasn't good. And he said, I guess it just wasn't promoted right. So that hit me really wrong because I'm thinking to myself, well, Ronnie West is actually, if you want to consider a promoter, he's the promoter. And so I thought, man, this is horrible. I didn't say nothing to Tracy, but I said something to my mother. She was there. We were on our way to Disney World later on because that was during the Christmas break. So I said, man, I can't believe it. Tracy said that. I can't believe he said that. That's just horrible, and he don't even know what he's talking about because we can't spend no advertising here. They don't give us no advertising budget. It's very hard to spend money that you don't have.
Yep. And
so I go back in the dressing room, give some people money because I'm leaving for a week out of their merchandise and stuff. And Tracy says, I would just like to beat you up right now. Anybody know Tracy will know that he had an attitude. he had that. He said, I should hit you. Well, me being the arrogant person I was at 17 years old, I didn't even leave. I didn't even back up from him. He had killed me. All right. He had killed me, but I didn't even back up because I thought I was somebody at 17 years old. All at once, here comes Bob Armstrong out, and he says, Brent, you get to the front, and Tracy, shut your mouth. Because we were going hot and heavy in that back of that State Fair Arena. But after that, me and Tracy became very good friends. and never had a problem after that. And he was always he would do anything in the world for you, and never had a problem with Tracy after that. So I think Tracy deserves to be in the top 100 spot, and especially for what he's done for the wrestling business. Any other things, Jack, you'd like to talk about Tracy?
Yeah, we could do a whole series of shows on Tracy and his career. But I think we covered the basis of showing how much we care about Tracy.
I will tell you, if you've not seen where he goes to the Juggalo Festival, I think that's how you say it. Juggalo Festival. If you've not seen that on YouTube, look that up. Tracy Smothers. I think they throw everything but the kitchen sink at him during this video. Profanity pretty bad during this, but
he could be pretty profane anyway. But this was even over the top for him, and I loved his ECW stuff. I thought that full-blooded Italian thing was some of the funniest stuff I ever saw in my life, and he absolutely loved doing that.
I think even Tommy Rich enjoyed doing that because wasn't he part of that group as well?
Yeah, well, he only had to take a bump like once every 6 weeks. So, yeah, he loved it.
So he probably really enjoyed it. All right, let's go, Jack, to the insiders and see what's going on and see what will Richard Hood. Good evening, Richard. How are you doing? Dr. Phil Bullgrice is with us as well. Mickey Mayfield said, happy Tuesday. My wife today sent this little thing, shared this little, and it was Winnie the Pooh. And the question was, what is today? And Winnie the Pooh said, well, it's a great day because every day is great. That's what Winnie the Pooh said. It was pretty interesting. Jason Mundy. Hello, everyone. Hello to you. Dutch Mantel on his top 100. And Dirty Dutch Mantel.
Won't argue that in the very least.
No. I believe Dutch Mantel made my list. I'm pretty sure he did. Like I said, I don't even know who 93 is until I go.
As a matter of fact, somebody had asked me the other day. I'd said something about WWE, and they said, well, what they need to do is hire you to run it. And I said, oh, no. There's people more qualified than me out there. And they said, well, what would you do? And I said, I would go to Dutch Mantel and I would take a blank check and hand it to him and say, run my company for me, please.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. Dutch had some great ideals. He understood the wrestling business. He understood that every town, every city was different. Yep. And he couldn't cookie cutter every town, and he understood that. And if we could get WB, AEW to understand that everyone likes the same thing in every town, they might be a little bit.
I will. And while we're talking about just real briefly, while we're speaking of WWE, I ended my boycott last night after we got off the podcast. I watched the last almost 2 hours of it, and I don't know if this is going to hold true, but last night was the best Raw show that I have seen in a long time. It seems like they had put a lot of thought into not only making the matches mean something, but telling stories involved with everything. And I heard there's a lot more changes coming, and I hope so. I want them to succeed. I want to be able to sit and watch them without having to complain about it.
That is Rob McCalb. How you doing, Rob? Been a while. Hello, all. Mickey Mayfield said his is Haku. Now, I agree that he gets there. I believe he should be there. But if there was one of the meanest men in wrestling, if you did a top 20, he'd be way up there in the top.
Well, toughest, guaranteed toughest guys. And we have become friends over the last few years. And I'm telling you, that is absolutely one of the sweetest guys you'd ever know. Now, I would not want to be on his bad side for even half a second.
No, I heard he actually bit a man's nose off.
Yep.
And I thought that was not the true story, but they say that is actually a true story.
Yep.
So, no, I don't want Haku mad at me. I'm never saying nothing bad about Haku, even if there was a reason to. Kevin Penley said that is Rodney at a Kevin Sullivan meet and greet. Yeah, that and a Terry Taylor. It was a Terry Taylor. Who was that? Somebody else. He said Manny Fernandez. The Manny Fernandez, Kevin Sullivan, Terry Taylor meet and greet in Washington D.C. That's where he's at.
We should get a Kevin Sullivan cutout just to put in his chair when he's not able to come on.
That's right. The Boston Battler. The Boston Battler. Number 94, Roger Kirby. I don't know that I ever saw Roger Kirby wrestle. I heard great things about him.
Yeah, a couple of YouTube matches, but not.
Isn't he not another Nature Boy?
Yes. Yep, sure was. Central States area, I believe.
So Nature Boy Roger Kirby. So there you go. A lot of Nature Boys. By the way, Adrian Street was a Nature Boy way before Ric Flair ever thought about being a Nature Boy. Yeah. Now I think Buddy Rogers was around at the time. Robert Welch. Hello, Brent and Jack. How's your day going? Mine has been tremendous. I think Jack almost burned his microphone.
I bumped it. It's right up here close, but I'm good.
If it catches on fire, we'll probably go viral.
I got all kinds of color replacements here anyway, so we're good.
All right. Paul told us what the name of that. What did he say it was?
Gelf.
Gelf. I think he said Gelf. Are we right, Gelf?
We're going for that. We're claiming that.
That's what Brian Young told us from the Wrestler's Wrestler. One of the authors from the Wrestler's Wrestler. That's what he told us. So we're going for that. I nominate Hans Smith. Yes. Jack, who do you rank higher, Coach Saban or Coach Bear Bryant?
Well, two different eras. Honestly, I grew up with Bear Bryant. And I wasn't a huge Alabama fan growing up. My parents were. I just was not into sports. So I guess, and I don't mean to be blasphemous here, but Nick Saban is probably personally, my favorite coach. And that's taking nothing against Bear Bryant. Certainly a legend, but, that's my coach.
And he'll be there until he's 92 years old.
Yeah. I hope.
Hello, guys. Glenn Allen Shelton. How you doing, Glenn? Victor Nash. Hello, everyone. My number 94 from Knoxville, Tennessee, the first wrestler to beat Road Warrior Hawk in a one-on-one competition, Tim Horner. I think I know why he beat Road Warrior Hawk. I don't think Animal would have done the job for him. I don't think he would. That was a great match. You know what? I was sitting watching this. I don't know where we were at the time, because what year was that? 1983, maybe? 84?
Yeah, 83, 84.
We were somewhere in a motel, and we were watching that, and we could not believe that Tim Horner beat the Road Warrior. And so I believe Tim Horner deserves it. But Tim Horner, tremendous wrestler.
Well, and I think that to clear that up, it's not so much that we didn't think Tim Horner was great. It's just that nobody else gave him the opportunity that he should have had.
No.
And here he shows what he's capable of.
Yeah, he was so good. He had such I just don't know why I've never understood why they didn't give him. He should have been pushed. Him and Brad both should have been pushed as a tag team. They could have easily took the Rock and Roll Express's place instead of putting Wendell Cooley and Al Perez in as the new Rock and Roll Express.
Brilliant booking.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
And I think that was Bill Watts.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else but Bill Watts. Buddy's pre-match promo before his title, a shot against Shawn Michaels and Smoky Mountain Wrestling was absolutely great. Yes. If you didn't, there was a little bit of shooting in there, I believe. Because from what I remember, Shawn Michaels worked against Buddy Landell in 1984 when he first started in Mid-South Wrestling. And I believe Buddy took a little bit of liberties with poor old Shawn Michaels at the time.
Yeah, I seem to remember us reviewing that match. And we kind of had the same conclusion.
So I think during this match, I think that in the interview, if you listen to the interview from Shawn Michaels, he also alludes to the fact that now he's a big-time star And they ain't going to be nothing like he did when he first started. So that was a very interesting interview with Shawn Michaels, Buddy Landell. Buddy Landell, I believe at the time, wasn't he? Didn't they turn him babyface in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't watch Smoky Mountain Wrestling a lot, but when I did watch it, I always enjoyed the program. Glenn Allen said national champ. I guess he was talking about
Buddy.
Number 94, Big Bill Drummond. I think some people have got him into the hundreds and stuff as well, and he does. I did not. By the time I saw Big Bill Drummond, he was was older in age, but I understand in Georgia he was over like there was no other, and drew a lot of money in Atlanta.
Yeah, Bill was always great to me. The last match he ever had was with me, and I've always been kind of a feather in my cap for that.
Daniel Lang, by the way, on our supporter channel, we're going to go through some stuff that he gave us. We're gonna look through that. I found it this morning, and I thought that's something we need to go over. He gave us some good stuff to look at. We'll look at it on our supporter here at 8:20. Number 94 from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in a slim, trim 217 pounds. The only real playboy of professional wrestling, Playboy Buddy Rose. I loved him. Buddy Rose was so good. Even when he got bigger, he was still great. Still took those bumps. Yeah. And when I was doing my top 100, I don't know about you, Jack. Did you think of Buddy Rose? Because I don't think I did.
Not in my top 100, but I will say Buddy Rose certainly deserves to be in a top 100. And the only reason that he wasn't in mine is simply because it was never in this southern area where I got to really see a whole lot of it.
But I never thought of him, and but when I think now when his name comes up, I think about fun stuff to watching him doing stuff while he was in. Well, he did some spectacular stuff in the AWA. He did great stuff in WWE.
He and Doug Summers as the AWA tag champs with Sherry Martel was fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, just some of the. I mean, if you want to see what heel wrestlers tag team's supposed to be about, watch those.
Yeah, they are tremendous. Haku, I guess snuka. Who you got? I'm gonna give it to Haku.
Okay, Haku. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would give it to Haku against a tank.
I don't know. I never heard of Jimmy Snuka even having a fight with anybody.
I never did either.
I think he just would get along with you. Either that, he'd go smoke up a joint and he'd get done with it. He wouldn't make it. Doesn't matter. Colton Martin. My 94 is either Marty Jannetty or the Godfather. I don't know. That's another person when I'm going through either one of these probably wouldn't make my top 100. Now, tag team, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels are going to make it.
Yeah.
They're going to be way up there top. What about you, Jack?
Well, yeah, I agree with that. In a tag team, I would top 100. I would definitely put them in. Godfather, I would put him in a tag team with Bull Buchanan as the right to censor. I thought that was a great, probably to me, one of the most fun things I ever saw them do. As far as singles, neither one of them would make it in my list.
Yeah, I don't know that they would make it mine as well. Glenn Allen Shelton, he said, I first seen black hair, and then when bleached his hair, I knew a person. Now, yeah, that's Buddy when he was wrestling for IWA. I think it was not. It wasn't in International Championship Wrestling. It was the Paphos Wrestling. There's some young videos of Buddy Landell wrestling on television against, I think Cowboy Bob Orton. Maybe even Bob Roop. Go watch those matches because Buddy was good then. He even gets better as he learns. I think he took notes of people beating him up, so he knew how to beat people up. I saw Buddy Landell one time though. You remember old Steve Bronson? I think it's Steve Brinson, maybe was his name. Man, I saw him just chop him and beat him, and I'm thinking, and you could tell old Bronson, he was mad. You could tell he was. I don't know if I would have wanted to make that boy mad. Glenn Allen Shelton said he agreed, both gone too soon. Glenn Allen Shelton, Tracy wasn't Armstrong.
Yeah, he was family. He was.
Thank you, Mayfield. Rodney's list may or may not be in Brent's dad's.
He's like Fort Knox with that list.
So we'll never see that list. But Rodney has chimed in, and we do know what his number 94 is. He may not be able to speak, but he can type. Troy Graham, the Dream Machine Bruise brother. Yes, he was so good at Memphis. His as the mask when he was wearing the mask, and he was the Dream Machine, and he was doing. I mean, he was. Let's be honest, he was doing Dusty Rhodes. But when he was the Bruise brother, man, with him and Pork Chop Cash, he was so good. He got hurt right when he was going to make a ton of money.
Yep.
He was going to make a ton of money. He would have went to Louisiana, and they would have drew a ton of money with them. But they would have been the baby faces. I have said this, and I don't know if this could not be true, but I believe if the Bruise brothers would have been able to be there, the Rock and Roll Express would have had a fight on their hands of who was going to be the top babyface tag team, because Troy could talk. He could talk to people in the building, and Pork Chop could get out there, and he could work as well.
And I think with their size, Bill probably would have pushed them harder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They would have drew a ton of money. They came to New Orleans one time, and I don't believe by that time I think Troy got hurt before he even got to work New Orleans. I think Pork Chop Cash did, and I can't remember who teamed with him. Maybe Bill Dundee did. I'm not for sure, but he got hurt right before he got the big. And they were getting over just on television. People were sending cards in. They actually loved him. Glenn Allen Shelton said, "Need one shot Tracy Cup for champ."
They're doing something. I'm gonna have to look the details up, but they have some kind of big thing. Show coming up with Tracy Memorial type thing, and it may be a cup.
Tracy was a thug. T is for terrible, H is for horrible, U is for ugly, and G is for jail because a thug can't spell. I always loved it when he did that. That was tremendous stuff. That was. I think Glenn Allen Shelton was talking about Jimmy Snuka drugged up. Bret Hart, top 100. Yes, Bret Hart should be top 100. There's no doubt, and probably way down in that. Bret Hart.
As a matter of fact, I saw some kind of little interview that Vince McMahon did not too long ago, and he said that Bret Hart, in his opinion, was the most legitimate world champion of the modern era.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that because I don't think Shawn Michaels was very good as a champion. I'm not for sure that Rock was good. Steve Austin was good, but they could have got over without even ever having a championship.
Yeah. I think that's the key thing, what we're saying here.
Yeah. Colton.
They meant more to the title than the title meant to them.
Yes. Do y'all think David Arquette deserves top 100?
You know what? I'm going to tell you what. This guy, and he got a lot of bad press from the WCW. I understand that, and more importantly, he understands it. He's addressed it, and it was not his idea. This was a Vince Russo gimmick, and he didn't care for it. But like you said, I'm there. They tell me I'm going to win. I go out and do what I'm told to do. Now, since then, in the last few years, there's a documentary that's out that I really recommend everybody watch because he really has tried his best to make up for that to the fans because he went into some really intense training. He had some really good matches. I didn't care for that over-the-top hardcore death match that he had with Nick Cage, I think it was. But other than that, he's done really good. And now he'll never be in the top 100. He'll never be in the top 10,000. But
and love professional wrestling, by the way.
yes, yeah, and that's why I always liked him, because he really did love the business.
Yeah, but no, he will never be. He wouldn't even be in my 10,000. But I do respect him for what because he does respect the wrestling business. By the way, I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan. I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan either, Kevin. But you cannot take away how good Shawn Michaels was. He was good when he started. I mean, he wasn't great, but you can see that potential. We were there. We were in Bobot, Texas when he had his first match in Mid-South Wrestling. We knew there was something there. I remember Bill Dundee came out. A bunch of guys came out in the little box that we were sitting in. We all watched that match together. I was only like 13, 14 years old, and I looked at Bill Dundee and I said, he's going to be a star one day, and because he had that ability. So you can't take away Shawn Michaels' ability. Is he a jerk? Yes, but you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, and you know, and he made a lot of changes in his life, positive changes, which is great. I like him simply because he opened the door for a smaller man to be a world champion. Now, I don't think he was the greatest world champion. That's not a knock against his abilities, because he had great abilities. I just think it was, you know, they were desperate at the time to put the belt on somebody to give it credibility. He wasn't the greatest draw, what everybody remembers. But I'm going to tell you what, when he came back, the matches he had with Hunter, with Undertaker, all of those big names, with the exception of Hogan, were stellar matches.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoy watching his later work a lot more than, you know, back when he was champion.
Yeah, he had such an attitude when he was champion.
Yeah.
But when he came back, great matches. Ric Flair, the retirement match with Ric Flair was tremendous.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he was a great worker. So you can't take it away from him. But did I like Shawn Michaels? No, not really. Did I respect his ability in the ring? Yes, he was good. And Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, great tag team. They had their stuff. They used to go when they were in Continental. They'd get there early. In Birmingham, they would get to the building real early. They'd go through all their little spots and stuff. We were up there doing something. I can't remember what we were doing. We were at ringside. Me and Rodney was. I guess we were working on the ring or something in Birmingham Powell Auditorium. Brad come up there and said, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And they were going through their spots. And Marty Jannetty said these words. He said, "Now what we're going to do is we're going to go boom boom." And Brad said, "Whoa, wait just a second. I do that boom boom spots. You can't be doing." And this is what both of them looked like they could have jumped out of the ring and beat Brad up. And he looked at me and Rodney both and said, "I see there's no sense of humor there." Brad always was in a good mood. I don't know if I ever saw him that he wasn't in a good mood. Rick Martel, top 100. Yes, Rick Martel was good. I understand he's sour to the business now for some reason. I know for years he used to do interviews and stuff like that. I guess just something's happened.
Yeah, I heard that too. I don't know what the circumstance is, though. I hate that.
Yeah. Glenn Allen said he'll turn Tracy in seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, he will get you. Charles Bellfowler said advertising will kill you. Yeah, if you do not have it, it will do you. Well, you know, back in the territory days, you really didn't have to have great advertising. If you had a great television program, you had people watching the TV program. Yep. The problem was in Birmingham was, well, nobody was watching it because it had been moved around so many times. And it just kills it. Your television program gets moved around. It takes you years to be able to recover from that. Glenn Allen, he was the best Mid-South champion. And I'm not for sure he was talking about, but Jack Dillon is with us. How you doing, Jack Dillon? Glenn Allen Shelton. I'm not for sure what all that is.
Headshot with the belt, broke the belt, felt terrible, but it was a 1 count. I'm not really sure.
Victor Nash said WWE soon to be back on the road, Jack.
Yep, just in a few weeks.
I'm interested in seeing how they do when they go back out. Ricky Steamboat in the top 100. Ricky Steamboat. I possibly believe that Ricky Steamboat might have made my top 10. There was no better wrestler than Ricky Steamboat inside the ring. Wasn't the greatest interview in the world, but in that ring there was nobody better. Glenn Allen said Austin Idol. It was Austin Idol was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was your last. That was number 95, wasn't it, Jack?
I believe it was 95. I don't have my list pulled up.
Austin Idol,
yes,
yes. Glenn Allen Shelton, he talked about he was in the Kansas City area. Steamboat about 32. He says he would put Steamboat in 32. I believe I have him higher than that. He was so good. Glenn Allen Shelton said the Quick Schoolboy had them. By the way, they love to do that. They love to do the old roll up in WWE all the time. That thing is overdone. Distraction with the old roll up. That's an easy finish, by the way. That's the reason they're coming up with that. You know, there's so many guys they could be bringing in to give them some finishes. I mean, so many. There's just so many there. Roger Kirby was one of the cousins of Les Thatcher and Dennis Hall. Georgia Tag Team Champions with Buddy Colt in 1974 and the NWA World Junior Champion. Hey, you know, something that I seen with Les Thatcher, his real name is Lady. And you remember we did a program and there was a promoter called that? Was he any kin to that promoter of that era in the 1920s and 30s?
I'm not really sure.
We're going to have to ask him that question when he comes back on, because we're going to have him back on sometime in July, and we're going to have to ask him if he was kin to that promoter. It just seems, with his name being that there's a possibility he was. Maybe he could tell us some stories on that. Don Jardine, top 100. Yes, he wasn't the greatest wrestler, but he knew what to do. And he did that gimmick as the Spuller and Super Destroyer just tremendously. Victor Nash said, I like the Russell South belts. I do too. Jack sent those to me today so I could look at them. They were beautiful, beautiful belts. By the way, while we're talking about Russell South, July 10th.
A week from this Saturday.
Get there. If you're around that area, Arab, Alabama, Arab Recreation Center, make sure to get there. Also, if you would like to be a part of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out's first old school, I want to make sure everybody understands, old school professional wrestling show and it goes directly with what we do right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. So you'll enjoy the show. Friday, October 8th, tickets are on sale right now. You can go to the website, hit tickets, and you can buy them online. Through Eventbrite. For some reason, I had just give me a little moment here because I hit something over here. I always have technical difficulties, but I hit something over here. All right, here we go. I'm back. Bruce Mulkey. Good evening, gentlemen. And if there were gentlemen here, we'd tell them. Greg Zimney, number 94. Wild Bull of the Pampas. I never can say that, guys.
Pampero Firpo.
Also the eighth wonder of the world. Never knew he was the eighth wonder of the world. Start watching the International Wrestling Association. And Tim Woods. That's unfortunately when I was doing the top 100, he never got into my mind. Wrestling 2 did, but for some reason he didn't. And there would never have been Miss Wrestling 2 if there wasn't for Tim Woods.
Yep.
So, Victor Nash, Haku, and Umaga, the Wild Samoans.
I wrestled Umaga.
Oh man.
Yep. And I'm a big old boy, but he was a lot bigger boy than me.
How you doing, Michael? Good to see you on here. Michael Barr, better late than not. How you doing? By the way, folks, if you are a supporter, we tried something new last night. It didn't work out too good for us. So we went back to the old tried and true for tonight's deal. I thought that would be simpler. No, that was.
And Michael Barr, you were worried about me not having a cigar last night, so I got this one just for you today.
He is running out though, so folks, he is running out of the cigars. Victor Nash said, "Get well soon, Rodney, and we hope you do get back." Kevin Penley said, "Troy T. Tyler, he wrestled as that in Southeastern Championship Wrestling." The Wrestling Pro and Dick Dunn as a tag team. They were tremendous. They were tremendous in that area. It's funny because when you go to Dothan, still today, they will talk more about the Wrestling Pro Dick Dunn than they do Ron Fuller, Robert Fuller. That's incredible that they think of them and more. And the same thing happened in Knoxville. They talked more about Waddy Caldwell and Ron Wright than they did Ron Fuller and Dick Slater. That was just their wrestling. Colton said we skipped your comment. Did we skip something of his?
I didn't notice.
Well, go ahead and type it again then if we missed it. But maybe
no. He said, "Never mind, you didn't skip it." LOL.
Oh, okay, all right, I got you. Glenn Allen said, "Still get a lot of heat." Was Russo done it? Vince Russo. Oh,
he deserves every ounce of fire coming his way.
Yeah, see, my number 94 had already been named in recent weeks. Brad Armstrong, Rick Brooks, but he believes it. Glenn Allen Shelton said he's going to put our cat 11,111 on his list. I want to watch this. The Roddy Piper documentary was awesome. I do want to see this. I heard Bret Hart said great stuff about Roddy Piper.
It was a great documentary.
I will have to watch.
And I'll say to anybody that hasn't watched any of those A&E documentaries, you really should go watch them. They're tremendous. And even the Hidden Treasures, WWE Hidden Treasures episodes are really good too.
Glenn Allen said the nose candy gets a lot of them. Unfortunately, you're telling Drew. How about Marty Jannetty? Could he be in the top 100? I don't know that I can put him in the top 100. I don't. Even though Marty Jannetty was good, for some reason Shawn Michaels outshined him. Even in the tag team, he outshined him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what. Now he's way out there in left field now too. Him and Billy Jack Haynes must be taking the same stuff or something.
They're out there in that field all by themselves.
They playing that ball game, and they're
rest of the team's about 10 miles down the road.
Stuart Kemp, names should not automatically get a spot in any ring. Names should not automatically get a spot in any ring. I would agree with that. The Masked Assassin #1. So we're talking, Michael, Tom Ernesto. He was the #1. And Jody Hamilton told us that he was number 2. He was number 2. That Tom Ernesto was #1. And they, I don't know that. Did you ever see Tom Ernesto wrestle, Jack? Because I don't think I did.
Never did.
I think he was already booking and doing the office stuff by the time that I got to see him. Barry Darso, Crusher Khrushchev, and then Demolition Smash, I guess, and Repo Man. And I don't know what he did while he was in WC.
I thought he was a solid hand. I wouldn't put him in the top 100, but I could see where somebody would. Certainly.
One night at the television tapings, Mid-South Wrestling, Barry Darso was doing a kick. He comes up to the top, and after the show's over, he tells Bill Watts, says, "What in the world kicks were those?" And he said, "Well, I was just kicking." He said, Get down on the floor. Get down on the floor and let me show you how to kick something." Bill Watts kicks the crap out of him. I mean, kicks him hard. He says, "Now you remember to do that? Can you remember to do that next time you kick somebody? Because the next time I'm going to kick you harder." Get down there and kick the guy. He said, "This is wrestling business. If they can't take it, they can go home." Tim LaFontaine. we've seen. Good evening, guys. Good evening to you.
Hey, Tim. Tim's mother passed away yesterday, and we'd just like to extend our sympathies to you, Tim.
Colton did say, never mind that you didn't skip it. My all-time favorites were First Taker, then Cena. Now Adam Cole is probably the favorite. I like Adam Cole myself.
Yeah, Adam Cole is tremendous.
Yes. Chris Adams, top 100. Yes, Chris Adams was tremendous. Tracy Smothers, he says he'll put him in there as well. Colton also said, and even though he left the company on a sour note, CM Punk, in my opinion, will always be in my top 10 as one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, right there with Daniel Bryant. Yes, I like Daniel Bryant. I was never a fan of CM Punk. There was just something about him. I thought he did great matches. I thought he had great matches, but there was just something there that I just didn't care for. I think he was a Shawn Michaels type of character. Attitude. I just think there was something there.
And so this is one of our few little differences because I really like CM Punk. I enjoyed what he did. And of course, the mic drop promo goes down in history as one of the biggest moments in our industry. I thought that was great too. And Daniel Bryant goes without saying, tremendous. And Cesaro, I love watching him work.
I just think they've done him wrong, though. I think
repeatedly done him wrong.
Could drew some money with him, but they made him a joke, and that was just sad. Robert Welch, during the Monday Night Wars, who do you think was better? I'm going to go for a long period. I would say that wrestling-wise, in-ring product, I thought Raw was better. I thought it was much better. Storyline and storytelling, I thought WCW for a long period of time was doing a whole lot better job, but they didn't know where to go after the NWO.
I'll 100% agree with that. WCW was good until about 2 years into it when everybody and his mother started being in the NWO, and it just lost me from that.
I was even in the NWO. Nobody knew it. I was even. Mickey Mayfield said, anybody remember Dusty Rhodes' BC commercial? Yes.
Yeah, Ray Lloyd and I were talking about that recently, and I'm going to get Ray and I matching shirts made up that says, I can tell you about pain.
Let me tell you something right now. That's the rules. I know of pain. You could hear a crowd behind them. Tremendous. They played them on every wrestling show that was being played at the time. So Glenn Allen said Tracy worked a lot for them. Michael said, are the Missouri Mauler and the Assassin Brothers? Yes, Jody Hamilton, and yes, they are. Arn Anderson is in the top 20 in my book. I agree with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
David Von Erich. I'll go read through these real quick because we're running out of time and not put them up there. Richard Hood, David Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich. Michael, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put Bob Roop in my. Yeah. What about you, Jack? Bob Roop going to be in your top?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Jim Rogers says, "Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing, Jim? Thank you so much." William, for some reason it won't let me click on your thing, William. So I won't be hitting on that. Steve Richards, after Terry Funk, Pedro Morales, Ox Baker, and a few others, Playboy Buddy Rose was a top 10 of all-time left-hander from Steve Richards. Hope Rodney starts feeling well. Jim Rogers said Wendell Cooley. I like Wendell, but Wendell probably is not going to make my top 100. I do like Wendell, though. Wendell had some great matches. Richard Hood said El Mongo, Michael Barr, Rip Tyler, Richard Hood, Scott Casey. I don't know that Scott Casey can make my top 100 either. What about you, Jack?
No, and I like Scott. Scott's having a lot of health issues right now, but no, not a top 100. Maybe if he had gotten out more, but he was so centralized, it was hard to really see much of what he did.
Was Harley Race ever part of a regular tag team? Yes, with Larry Hennig. Was just Kurt Henning's father. Yes, then they were a great tag team.
Yep.
and drew a lot of money as a tag team together. All right, guys, we're going to have to get off of here. If you are a supporter of the channel, we are going over to the supporting channel right now. If you'd like to become a supporter, it's very easy to do. It's only $2.99 a month, and you'll go to the Facebook page. You'll hit become a supporter. We're doing a little things different. We've been going to like 9:30 on Monday nights. We're only going to go to 9 o'clock from now on, because by the time we're through, we have so much stuff we have to do afterwards. It's taking up too much of the time. So we're gonna limit it to 9 o'clock every. Plus, it's your time as well. So if you're a supporter, get over there and support her. Plus, we got t-shirts as well.
And next Monday, I believe it is, Chris Whaley is coming on, who wrestled as the Masked Saint. There's a great movie about his life and career that's out there. I think it's on Amazon Prime now. But Chris is a Baptist pastor. So he's going to come on and share a little bit of his story with us next week.
So make sure you join us there. Plus, next Tuesday, we'll be right back here with number 93. Who's 93? On my list, I have no clue. I'll know later on tonight, and Jack will let us know. And Rodney, hopefully he will be back with us next week, and we will see everybody next week. Thank you so much for being a part of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. We certainly do appreciate it, and we will see you down the road. We'll see you next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out.